And at 17 minutes past the hour of 6 p.m., we welcome you back to the South Jersey edition. Prime at 6. I'm David Spatz. For 21 years, an Ocean City woman who has been searching for her missing sister who left home in 1994 and suffers from a disorder that can affect memory. Margaret LaManna says her sister Renee was spotted in Virginia during a 4-day period last fall. Based on pictures she's seen, Margaret is convinced more than ever that her missing sister is alive. And joining us now from her home in Ocean City is Margaret LaManna. And Margaret, welcome to the South Jersey edition, Prime at 6.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to condense things real quick because we don't have a lot of time. But your sister Renee wandered away from your Wesley Avenue home on the night of January 8th, 1994. You haven't seen or heard from her since, but you're convinced more than ever that she is alive.
Yes. I received a phone call on February 2nd from a woman in Virginia who said, "I saw your sister and I spent 4 days with her." I was shocked. I had been looking for my sister for 21 years. She was seen the night of her disappearance on January 8th of 1994. She was seen in May of 1995 and December of 1995. But this was the first time I had received any information since December of 1995. So
where was she seen in 95?
In 1995, she was seen at the Chrysler Plymouth Jeep dealership on Tilton Road. She was selling a hairdryer for $20 to get a bus ticket to New York. My parents, who were in Florida at the time, which is where I am now, drove 1,500 miles nonstop to interview the man who worked there at the dealership. They were convinced upon talking to him and meeting him that, in fact, Renee was the person there in the showroom. I flew up on the next possible flight, and when I entered the showroom unannounced, he turned around from his desk and he said, "You're the sister." The Northfield police was called, and I'm not really sure what happened with the lead, but it was dropped and not pursued. The Ocean City Police Department, who hold this case, never confirmed that sighting. Renee was wearing at the time a black skirt, knee-length, black ballet slippers, and a navy blue pea coat with a backpack. In December of 1995, the same year, I received another phone call from a gentleman who works for the New York Telephone Company, and he said, "I saw your sister looking at her flyer taped to the Chambers Street subway wall in Lower Manhattan." Well, again, my parents drove nonstop 1,500 miles to meet Mr. Bricks. I got on the next flight, and he reported, again, of course, looking at me and my mother, that there was incredible similarity. I said, "What was Renee wearing?" And he said, "A black skirt below the knee, black, like, flat slippers, a navy blue pea coat, and a black backpack." Well, that was enough for me. And, of course, we reported this to the Ocean City Police Department. But, again, they were not comfortable confirming these sightings. So here we are, February 2nd of 2015, after an exhaustive search for Renee. This has been an endless search for the family, and my parents died looking for their daughter. I received a phone call from a woman in Virginia, and she said, "I spent 4 days with your sister." I said, "Do you have pictures?" She said, "Yes, I have lots of pictures." Well, I could hardly wait, and I received the pictures, and there was absolutely no. The first picture was in a mini mart, and the lighting wasn't good, and I hesitated. The second picture was in this woman's minivan, and my sister was talking to a homeless agency called Helping Hands that got her a couple nights in a hotel room. And the Franklin County Sheriff Deputy was standing there in the picture next to my sister, and the visual of her face was fairly close up. There was absolutely no doubt in my mind. There was Renee after 21 years.
And Margaret, what really like clinched it for you though wasn't necessarily the pictures or the description. It was the type of food that she asked this Good Samaritan to buy.
Actually, it's more than that. Renee is a strict vegetarian, and the woman in the Good Samaritan and her sister and brother-in-law, the three witnesses that I have that spent this time with Renee, took her into the Minute Mart in Glade Hill, Virginia, and bought her a series of items. Typical Renee, she looked at the items and she said, "Thank you very much for your generosity, but I'm strictly vegetarian, so I can't have the hamburger. I won't eat the hot dog. And by the way, I don't drink carbonated beverages. I only drink juice, water, or tea. So can I switch these two meat items for that vegetarian lasagna over there, that eggplant lasagna? That's my favorite thing." So that was one of the details, but there were many, many details that came out in the course of the 4 days with these wonderful people in Virginia. The problem is that my phone call was February 2nd, but the sighting was October 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th of 2014. It took these people 4 months poring over the computer to identify my sister because the police refused to check the databases. And my sister, not only did she not know her name, she said, "My name is Renee LaManna or Darlene Hanson or Darlene Hartfield." And the officer said, "Which is it? Is it Renee LaManna or is it Darlene Hanson?" And she said, "It's Darlene Hanson." And they signed her in as Darlene Hanson at the Hometown Inn in Rocky Mount, Virginia. But something upset my sister on her third day there. She got very upset, and she ran out of the hotel and was darting across the highway, almost got killed a number of times, and they called the police. This time, instead of the Franklin County Sheriff Police, it was the Rocky Mountain Police, and the Rocky Mountain Police picked her up at the Dudley truck stop, which is next to the Hometown Inn, which is where she was staying, and they threw her in the back of the car, threw her suitcase in after her, as witnessed by one of the three Good Samaritans, and they drove her across the county line from Franklin County to Roanoke County, and they dropped her off at the Walmart superstore there.
Margaret, unfortunately, I'm out of time. I do need from you, though, what people can do if they think they have information about where Renee might be. How do they get a hold of you?
Very important. My phone number is 561-339-2266. If you see Renee, take a picture, call 911, and call me.
Okay, and
a silver alert was issued in the state of North Carolina on March 9th of this year.
All right, that's all good information. We will check back with you down the road, Margaret, because we want an update on this story, because something tells me that at some point you will find your sister, if indeed she that was her in those pictures, and all the things add up, then it's her.
It was her, definitely.
All right, Margaret, thank you again. Really appreciate it.